everybody. I have been away from this channel for a very long time, and I had some thoughts today, and I kind of just wanted to check in with everybody and kind of just share what's on my heart today and what I'm sort of turning over in my head about recovery and being a survivor of religious trauma. So I have been trying to get justice for a very long time, and I recognize that the chances of me getting justice from the legal system are very slim. And the chances of me getting justice from the UPCI is very slim. And so I have to find ways to get justice for myself that I have control over and that I'm not having to wait for other people to enable me to feel that sense of justice. I would say that it's probably not a good idea to go looking for justice in places where you've been abused. I think that all of us want to hear that apology or hear that, I believe you, I'm sorry, I was wrong. We all want to hear that. I think that there's just this part of us, especially those of us who were abused as children, who really want to hear the people that hurt us say, "Hey, I did this and it was wrong and I'm taking responsibility for it." The problem is that, if you're going back to those places and trying to get those answers from people who are still in the same, mindset, who are still, in their sick way of looking at the world, it really just becomes a way that you're further punishing yourself. Um, because you're probably not going to get what you're looking for ultimately. And there are lots of reasons to seek justice, like wanting to protect other people from harm, wanting to have people removed from positions so that children can be safe or other adults can be safe. Those are all noble, wonderful reasons to do the work of trying to seek justice. But you have to be really clear that that's why you're doing it, and you're not doing it because that wounded child inside of you wants an apology, because you're probably not going to get it. And even if you do, it's not going to be the way that you want it to be. And so don't look for healing in the place where you've been hurt. Like, you have to look for your healing somewhere else. You have to look within, and you have to remind yourself every day, these things happened to me and they were wrong. And your belief about your truth shouldn't be dependent upon the people who hurt you agreeing that they hurt you. Just because the people that hurt you are denying it doesn't mean that it's not your truth, and doesn't mean that it didn't happen to you. And so, like, you have to always remind yourself of that. You have to always remind yourself of the truth of your situation, of what happened to you. And whether or not they acknowledge that they did what they did doesn't make it less true. And I know that I've been guilty. I guess guilty isn't the word that I would want to use, but like, I have longed for apologies. I've longed for people to take responsibility for the damage that they did to me in my childhood. I have longed for like sweeping change um, in the organization that I was raised in. And I've really just come to the conclusion that like that's just never going to happen. But that shouldn't make me feel less. It doesn't make my story less valid. It doesn't make my pain exist less. It doesn't make the damage that's been done to me invalid because they won't take responsibility for it. Um, and so I guess I just wanted to stop in and remind all of you out there that are survivors of, SA or um, spiritual abuse, complex PTSD, child abuse, whatever it is that you've suffered from, whatever it is that it has caused your trauma or has brought you to my channel or brought you to my blog. I just want to remind you that just because that parent or that leader in your spiritual community, the church you grew up in, the people who raised you, just because they don't believe you or they don't think that what happened to you was traumatic, or they're questioning, why are you still so traumatized by this? Like, why haven't you given it up? Why are you walking around being bitter? Like, even if they're asking you those questions, your story is still valid. Your pain and your recovery is still important. And, just remember that at the end of the day, um, there was a sickness that caused your trauma. And if they're still suffering from that sickness and they're not willing to acknowledge it, you're not going to get what you're looking for from them. You have to find it within yourself. You have to find it within yourself, and you have to find other like minded people who are willing to remind you whenever you need them to remind you that what happened to you was real, what happened to you had consequences, and if you're feeling pain because of what happened to you, of course you are. Of course you are. I have someone in my survivor group who I can go to for that, who I can say, I need you to remind me that I'm not crazy, that this happened, that my feelings, my pain, my struggles, everything is valid. And I'm not, you know, sometimes if I interact with people that I grew up with, or I interact with people from my old church or from that old organization too much, I start to question myself. And I'm just like, I'm really frustrated by this conversation. Am I the crazy one? Am I wrong for not being patient, or wrong for wanting what I want? And I would say no. Um, when you're in a crazy making situation and you step out of it, you can get a certain amount of distance and healing and wholeness. But if you start to interact with that crazy again, it can be really difficult to stand your ground and say, I'm not going to be drawn in by it, because so many of us have these like childhood patterns that have enmeshed us in this, and we've had to work really hard to get out of it. But then if you do have to deal with those people again, it can be really easy to get sucked right back into those old patterns of doubt and worry about yourself and your place in the situation and what happened. So just, if you're in this place with me right now, because I'm kind of in this place, just like try to love yourself and remind yourself of what is true. And sometimes I will just write that out in my journal. I know the truth is, and then I just write it down, and it helps me to get clarity. Remember that I'm here. There are lots of us here who want to support you and want to help you and will believe you and will listen to you. And I guess that's all I have. I was thinking about this today, and it's kind of been on my mind all morning. And I wanted to just come and deliver the message, because I know that I can't be the only one that's in this situation right now. So As usual, I love you guys. I hope you're having a great day and meet me in the comments. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.